I just graduated from Hogwarts, and I asked my professor, or rather a professor, considering how I already graduated, if I could stay within Hogwarts to pursue a career in the defense against the dark arts and continue teaching here, instead of pursuing what they believe to be my potential outside of Hogwarts due to my high marks. But I do believe Hogwarts has the best potential for me to enlist what I would call Death Eaters into my midst. Followers, people who would support me in my quest to achieve ultimate power, ultimate dark power. Of course, there is no such thing as anything stronger than dark power, no matter what any of these people try to teach you. Although in my potions class, I do believe that I came about a realization as to my origin, a piece of information that might have been withheld from me if anyone ever knew about it. Dumbledore is the most likely candidate to know something that I myself don't already know about myself. Nonetheless, I came to a realization that could give me insight into my character. I was most likely born beneath a love potion. This could be the reason why my father left my mother while she was pregnant with me. She probably thought he had either fallen in love with her naturally after all that time of being together, or would have stayed with her for the sake of their child, me. Of course, he ran away and she soon died an hour after giving birth to me. I honestly thought she was the muggle considering how she succumbed to the weakness of death, but alas, she was just a weak wizard. I'm glad she died. Imagine how limited I'd be beneath her tutelage. I preferred the orphanage where I would taunt, torture, and steal little treats from my fellow peers. That's where I developed my knack for collecting items, like I do now with Horcruxes. Dumbledore is someone I owe great thanks to. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have had a place to hone and develop my magic or anyone to compare my magic to. I wouldn't even know that what I was doing was called magic. Now I can more confidently say that I'm the greatest wizard that's ever lived, and thus I deserve my recognition. Do away with all muggles like my father, the first thing I'd implement into my new world. Morphin Gaunt, my uncle, someone else I owe great thanks to. If it hadn't have been for him, his wand and his limited mind, I wouldn't have been able to kill my father and get away with it. When I went searching for my family's history at the Gaunt house, he mistook me for my father and threatened me as any loving brother would to protect their sister from muggle blood. However, I began speaking in Parseltongue, a language that only those descended from Salazar Slytherin can possess, and he realized I wasn't the man he'd seen over 16 years ago. I then stupefied him, stole his wand, went over to my father's house, killed him and his family, and then casted an imperious curse on him where he believed he had killed the Riddles. My uncle, that is. That's when I decided to change my name to Lord Voldemort, a clever anagram of Tom Morvillo Riddle. My middle name, I learned, was from my grandfather's name. Anyways, Professor Slughorn soon told me how Horcruxes are made. After I had asked him. It was information he wasn't supposed to give away, considering how there was already a book within the Ravenclaw library that indicated step by step to how Horcruxes are made within the darkest arts of magic, but that book was obviously taken down from the catalog and unavailable to most students, if not any student wizard. But He still gave me the information because my charm won him over, and I aimed to make 7 Horcruxes, splitting the soul, putting the other half or the other half remaining into an object. And if you're killed, your soul lives on. Thus you can't die. Thus you live through the object that has your soul. How powerful. Maybe my mother should have considered Horcruxes as a prenatal plan. I so far have 2 Horcruxes, my diary, which I write in now, and the Gaunt Ring. After murdering Myrtle, now moaning Myrtle, I placed that torn part of my soul in my diary. Used my murder of my father, I turned the Gaunt Ring into a Horcrux. In essence, I could be killed twice and still live on. Though Professor Slughorn said I'd lose my body and live in some degraded state so harsh that death would seem preferable to most, but most are cowards and meant to be ruled. My ambition for the future is this: world domination. I'll promise wizards the power they want and deserve over the Muggles and return us to a former state of glory where I'll be the leader. I, of course, will have my enemies, most likely Dumbledore, a strong wizard, though I can easily best him through the dark arts, so I'll have to finish splitting my soul a number of times to keep myself safe from the threat of death. My followers from school, orchestrated by me, were safe from any culpability. In the meantime, I'll have to shroud myself from danger and keep low. In the meantime, I'll pose as no threat to anyone. My followers from school, orchestrated by me, were safe from any culpability for the tricks we'd play in Hogwarts, and obviously, me being a distant party, was never even considered as being a culprit. I'd also need to refine my charm because it's a strong acid to cloud the feeble minds of common people. Those who don't fall for my appearance would be ostracized as well, so there's no threat of exposure there. Once I've achieved the power necessary and truly become the Dark Lord, I'll come forth and make my declaration of the world clear through action.